my name's Kate with Relative Motion, and I have Allie here. And this YouTube series we're going to be working through is called Perfecting the Parallel. So what we're going to be talking about is helping your dancers find that true parallel alignment. A lot of times dancers are going to want to go into a slight turned out position, or we might find them kind of pigeon-toed in some of their positions. So we're going to talk about different positions dancers will be in, whether they're going into just a standard parallel, or they're going into a turn, or they're going in and out of a jump, that we're finding that true parallel. So Allie's going to show us a couple different positions that we might be in when we're talking parallel, and just some things to look out for in your dancers. So she's going to go to a parallel and bring her legs maybe a little bit closer together. And I want you to see here in this position, there is some slight rotation in parallel, right? So if she were to completely release all rotation, she would go into somewhat of like a neutral, or I'm sorry, an internal rotation of her hips, right? And when you release rotation, what starts to happen is those arches are going to sink, right? The knees are going to start going towards each other. The pelvis is probably going to tip a little bit forward, okay? So we're getting a lot of strain on the low back, and if she goes into like a releve even from here, right? Everything is just very internally rotated. Yeah, so go ahead and relax. So when we're in these positions, we want dancers to recognize that when we are in parallel, we are not relaxed. We are slightly rotated. The rotators are a little bit engaged. That way those positions are completely stacked and that position is neutral. The knees are facing front, stacking over the ankles and the feet, okay? We're also going to talk about this from a place of pirouettes, right? So if she was going to go into a parallel pirouette, she would come from a parallel prep. This is for both legs, okay? You don't want to rotate the front leg slightly in, right? A lot of times dancers might put that front leg in as they go to step in for that turn. We want to find that knee tracking right over the ankle into the foot. And then similarly, some dancers might rotate out with that back leg, right? So if she were to rotate out with that back leg, you're getting the hip opening to the side. At this point, the shoulders are not stacked over the hips, and you're just not setting up that pirouette for success, okay? The dancer's gonna have to try to correct their position as they're rotating, which is super difficult. So we wanna start from the beginning with a perfect parallel, essentially, okay? And then the other position that we're gonna talk about is going through jumps, right? So if she were to go into like a tour jump, right, from second, and maybe she was in a plie here, right? Her knees are stacked. Then say she did some kind of jump and landed again, we wanna find that same position, right? A lot of times transitions into jumps are gonna often be turned out, right? Because we might be running into a leap. We might be coming from a fifth position into some kind of seesaw, but there are moments that we're going into parallel, right? We might be just doing a passe jump, or doing some kind of tour and a lyrical combo. So those are times that we wanna make sure we're finding that parallel. Okay, so these are three different elements we're gonna talk about in this series. This is perfecting the parallel and working through all those positions.